Motor City is an action thriller film directed by Potsy Ponsiroli and written by Chad St. John. Motor City follows John Miller, who I don't think I ever learned his name actually in the movie, an ex-con on a quest for revenge against a gangster who framed him for a crime he didn't commit and stole his girlfriend in 1977 Detroit. This will be a spoiler-free review, but before we get into it, have you heard of Motor City? Does it sound like a film you're interested in? Let me know down in the comments below, and without wasting any more time, let's just get into it. Starting off with the good, I think the movie is really well made. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels like a lot of passion was put into the film based on what they shot. The movie looks nice, and the original score, while it isn't anything to write home about, it does the job. The best thing this movie does is the soundtrack. Being set in 1977, we get a lot of classic 70s songs, and hearing each song was a treat. Every song they put in the movie was a banger, and it made the movie as bearable as it could be. I don't know how much money they put into licensing for this movie, but honestly, that's the best money they spent. If Motor City didn't have as good of a soundtrack, I think it might be one of the most forgettable films I've seen in theaters in a long time. And unfortunately, that's kind of it on the things that I think are good or just alright about this movie. Not much, but the soundtrack is legitimately great. But even then, I think other movies have better throwback soundtracks. But it's the movie's one real saving grace and makes it bearable to sit through the whole film. Moving on to the bad, I don't understand any of the choices that this movie makes. Right from the jump, you get a typical shot from later in the movie that we'll come back to which is fine. That's what I expected from a throwback action thriller, so my expectations so far are met. Then we get a setup for why he's wanting revenge, which is great. But I start to notice something, not thinking much of it at the time, but the further we get into the movie, we hardly are getting any verbal lines. There's a few very limited, and that happens throughout the film, which, hey, that's an artistic choice, and if you pair it up with the music, it could have been an inspired choice even. If the music was speaking for the characters, and actually having a purpose, but it wasn't what they were doing. They were just cool 70s songs. So the choice to have really no speaking roles is very odd to me. So that idea is just out the window. So if you're not going to have any dialogue, you better have a great way of making us care for the characters and everything that's happening. The movie unfortunately doesn't do that. It moves really quickly into why our guy is now in jail and away from his fiance, and then we slow all the way down to follow stuff that isn't interesting at all. The fiance just leaves him knowing that he's cleaned up his entire act for her and doesn't question anything at all. And then we get the person who set the husband up, who is also her old lover. She just comes back into her life, and she just kind of accepts it. It's to me, it's really nonsensical that she doesn't question what's happening at all, and then doesn't question him coming back right after her ex is arrested for a drug bust. This movie to me isn't logical at all, and it's just doing stuff that nobody really wants to see with the movie's runtime. This movie is essentially a revenge thriller, and we're focusing more time on anything other than our main character and him trying to escape prison to get revenge. This movie's decision to not follow our lead is weird, and when we eventually get to him and his plan to escape, I just didn't care anymore. I don't look at my phone for the time during movies at all because I don't care to do that. This movie made me, and he only really starts to try to escape from prison like an hour or so after the movie starts. That to me right there is insane. You've wasted an hour of your movie for what? Setting him up? No. We're pretty much following anyone but him for the first hour, rarely coming back to him. There is no reason to care about him other than he's been done dirty, but you didn't do anything to make me care about him before you decided to ditch him for anything other than what I came to see the movie theater for. And then for an action film, this movie has little to no action in it. And when it does, it's not really worth the wait at all. It's not interesting at all, and the only part that's exciting is an elevator fight sequence that's over within a few minutes. Great, thanks, I guess. Thanks for giving me the little smidget of action that I came to come for. I love going to an action movie for no action, and when it does get to the action, it's some of the least interesting action I've seen in a movie theater in a long time. I really don't like talking poorly of movies, so I'm just going to end my ranting here, but this movie made me irrationally upset. I felt like my time was wasted. It didn't feel rewarding at all when we got to the revenge part of this revenge thriller, and the cherry on top is the ending. I think that is my least favorite ending of any movie I've seen all year. If not the worst ending, it's definitely one of them. It was the perfect ending for this middling waste of my time movie. Going into Motor City, I thought I was going to get a by the numbers action revenge thriller led by a cool actor. Instead, I got an uninteresting, no action, nothing to latch onto movie that has a pretty killer soundtrack. And what makes this even more of a kicker is that this movie was well made. It doesn't feel like it was hobbled together or done within a week. So this is a movie that they wanted to make, which is great, but I think the movie was a waste of time and talent. Motor City gets a 2 out of 10. If I didn't think this movie was made with love, I might have given it a 1. But the soundtrack also is just really freaking great that I think it's just destined to be a 2 out of 10. I really don't like talking bad about movies, even the ones I'm more negative on. But something about Motor City just annoyed me like no other film I've seen this year. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to keep up with my next review. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.